Welcome back to Veritas. I'm Host Rick. My special guest is George Kavassilas, returning after almost 8 years. George, many spiritual seekers struggle to understand our place in the cosmos, and that has happened to me from day one of founding this program. How do you view Earth's unique role within the broader galactic framework?
It's because it's a full universal fractal, and our solar system is actually a full universal fractal. It's really interesting, and so is our galactic realm. But the star systems within the galactic realm are partial fractal to make up the whole full galactic fractal, universal fractal. And the same with the solar system. Each planet is a piece. It's an archetypal piece of the jigsaw puzzle. And then it comes here to the planet where all life is expressed here in a very, the density that is here comes with fractal compression. So we're at the pointy end of the sword. Like our planet and our species we're leading the evolution of the universe. We're at the pointy end of the universe's evolution. So everything that happens here affects everything out there. And I'll give you an example of that. And I hope all scientists, especially nuclear scientists and physicists, are going to listen to me right now. Because of the fractal structure, did you know that every time you pull a proton out of an atom to create nuclear energy and you split an atom, that you're actually destroying a solar system out there? But it's your ignorance. I was going to use the naivety, but I'm going to use the word ignorance because you're in a cult. You're in a religious cult and you don't wear brown or black robes, you wear white robes and you walk around with your prophets like Newton, your books with your prophets. Look, there's no difference. You're just two sides of the same coin. So you're not operating with real science. You're operating from ignorance. And the problem is you're creating so much damage. You're destroying entire solar systems out there. And that's on you. You don't understand the karma you're creating for yourself. So once people begin to realize, and I'll say the word, remember the structure of this realm, who we are as a species, the original intention. I'm all about original logos, right? Logos is the structure of creations, the pattern, the frequency, of creation. It's the expression, the emanation, So once you come back to the actual true structure of creation, the real thing, the song of life that is here, then you will begin to see, you'll remember, and then you're going to realize what you're actually doing, the damage, the destruction that you're doing on such a large scale with your ignorance.
By the way, before we even started this conversation, we're talking about personal stuff, and something came to mind when I was discussing health and the cure for the C word. I'll say it here because this is part 2, cure for cancer. And you said that not only is it illegal in most countries, but it's actually illegal in more laws than we can think. Can you explain what you were saying?
Oh, it's against the law to cure cancer. If you come up with a cancer cure, you will be arrested and you'll be locked up.
Oh, we know that. But is there something beyond that? I was assuming you were saying something like, if you do that, then you're just breaking breaking nature's way of evolution or something along those lines.
No, you see, what is cancer? If we are universal fractals, then what is the essence of cancer? What does it do to the body, to the vessel? Because this is a walking universe. Your body is a walking universe. And when you go into your universe, we're like a TARDIS. You just open up to your entire universal presence. Everything you've seen, everything you've done, and everything you've been in this universe, you access all of that. This is the Stargate. Your heart soul essence, the core of your being within, is the doorway, is the portal to access any realm that you've ever been to or seen or expressed yourself, all your incarnations, all your creations in this universe. You access the whole freaking lot, and through that, you access the entire universe. So it's, can you just repeat the question because I've gone on a little.
No, I was saying that before we started the conversation, we were talking about some personal stuff and, the topics I discussed in another show. The cure for cancer, it's not only illegal, like legally, when you talk about, legalese, but it's beyond. It's like universal law to cure cancer. Did I understand that right?
Yeah, so not universal law. No, it's against the law to cure cancer here according to the Kabbalah. And the reason for
Well, that's
that,
what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
the reason for that is that it's an edict or a directive that comes from God and filters through all the ranks. You're not allowed to cure cancer because people don't want the truth about what cancer is to get out.
Now,
And
you need to explain that, George.
yeah, what the essence of cancer is the hologram of the gods. What the hologram of the gods is to the universe is what cancer is to our bodies.
Okay, that seems antithetical.
The fact of reality.
If you call cancer evil, I would get it. But how is the essence of the gods cancer?
Cancer is evil because what is happening is it's the toxicity that builds in the body, the toxicity,
Yes.
and then the cells are like taken over by that toxicity because there's an intelligence in it,
Right.
and then the cell behaves differently, and then it passes on a message, a program to the next cell to then behave that same way, and you get like a cascading effect. Or these cells that enter into a self-destructive mode, right?
Right, like zombie cells.
Correct. And this is what's happening. And that's the same. It's a fractal. Again, we're in the fractal. So cancer to us is what the hologram of the gods in the fractal structure of things is to the universe. Because you have beings that have come into the universe that created this mimic of universal reality. It's a synthetic, it's created by numbers and geometry and technology, right? And they have their own ideas about what life should be. So when it comes to the entire universe, the entity you call God is the real Satan. God is Satan. In reality, universally speaking, God is Satan.
I even read this a few days ago, George, of somebody who makes an interpretation of Bible passages. And he said, when you think of fasting and praying, what that really means is that parasites take over your body once a year or twice a year. You need to fast and pray and detoxify yourself, as opposed to what we're told, like, just for Lent, give up this or that. But that's not really the meaning of it being, what's behind it.
Well, when you use the word pray, it depends. If you're praying to a God, all right. Let me put it this way. The dialectic that's here, the reason, I'm going to give you an example because people go, oh, but I got attacked by a demon and I said in Jesus' name, blah, 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 and, the demon went away. Sure, of course it's going to do that because you've been pulled into a dialective of God versus the devil, right? And our planetary system has been drawn into that dialectic. We've been assimilated into that. So there's the problem here with that, because do you want to just bounce around inside someone's game that they've created? Or are you more than that? And we're way much more than that. But people's conscious awareness is inside that game, inside the dialectic. So yeah, you can pray to your God, and yes, it's going to heal you against the demons and the nasties that are part of its dialectic realm that it has created and assimilated you into. But if you want out of that, yeah, you got to let go of the whole God versus the devil thing. Yeah. And I use the word Satan in relation to God because al-Satan, if you go to the etymology of the word, means the opposer. So who's the ultimate opposer to the natural prime creative intelligence of this universe? God is, because that's the entity that's postulating itself to be the creator of all that is and all that exists, when there's no such thing. You've got the creator of the universe, but life is infinite.
When I talk about pray, I mostly say it with intention. I mean, you can pray to the universe, you can pray to Buddha or whomever you want, but it's the intention that goes out there. And in my own experience, when I pray, it doesn't have to be, look, I always say that organized religion is a toll booth on my path to enlightenment. That's basically how I think about it. But if there's
That's a good one.
But if there's a creator, if there's an ultimate force out there, I do pray and I say, whoever's out there, that energy, help me do this or that. I've accomplished everything that I've accomplished by doing the same. So it's the intention that materializes and manifests into something tangible.
True. Oh, I hardly agree. And, if you use the word prayer and it's and not become prey to a God, all right? Depends how you approach it. You want to make sure that prayer is really conversation. But I don't use the word prayer because it comes out of the God space. It's one of those words. And so
What do you use?
I'm in conscious relationship.
Okay.
It's like natural relationship. That's all it is. Conscious relationship with the realm, with the planetary intelligence, the solar. I have conscious relationship with the collective soul essence of humanity, the collective consciousness field. I see it, I feel it, I see who's massaging it, who's polluting it, toxifying it. The solar realm, the galactic being, cosmic and universal intelligence. This is natural relationship. I'm inside the universe. Yeah. So everything that exists in this universe, including this piece of technology, what we call a mouse, it's made of the same stuff you and I are made of. There's no separation between us and this thing. Yeah. So whether it's a god, whether it's a techno god, whether it's a spaceship, whether it's a rock, a tree, whether it's a star, whether it's a nebula, galactic intelligence, doesn't matter. Everything that exists in this universe is made of what this universe is made of. That's a baseline unity. All right? There's no escaping that.
Well, that renders the word synthetic incorrect then. Because as you showed me a mouse made of plastic, which is made of petroleum, which is a biological compound that comes from our Earth, abiotic, by the way. I mean, we're told that petroleum is ending, but that's abiotic. So is that what you're saying, that every single component of this realm that we live in comes from the same source?
I'm talking big picture now. Yes, true that. So when you come across an evil draconian or something like that, at the baseline, that Draco is made of the same thing that you're made out of. This is made of the same thing that I'm made out of on a baseline level of universal construct. Absolutely, 100%. That's an absolute actuality.
Homo luminous, can we talk about that? How does it differ from our current understanding of humanity? And is that the soul?
So, no. The soul is part of becoming the soul is what is enabling us to become Homo luminous. The soul is in the heart of the universe, one with the universal being. That's what I refer to as soul. It is where we are whole. And from there, we project spirit and consciousness. So spirit, we project through spirit, which is the energy of love, into the realm, and then we bring consciousness, which is a mind energy. It's a wave pattern of mind, universal mind. Okay. So all the people who are just like, it's all about consciousness and everything's consciousness and all there is in existence is conscious awareness and nothing else, they don't have the spirit component in there. It's all about the knowledge and they're missing the love. Yeah. So love and knowledge together. Yeah. The rainbow serpent, the feathered serpent, the winged dragon, the wise dragon of Celtic lore, Asian lore, Kukulkan. It's all over. The rainbow serpent for the Australian region. It's every culture's got it. We all know what it is, and we understand that it is cosmic intelligence that is holds love and knowledge in perfect balance. And the essence of the heart of the Christos is that, but on a universal scale. It's the aspect of the universal intelligence that holds love and knowledge in perfect balance. People say that's why the Jesus, the mimic, says just love. So they're bouncing you from the serpent to that. It's like problem, reaction, solution. Right? You look at the hands. What was that image? I forgot where it is, but you got the two hands on the poles and the pyramid there. Have you seen that image? And one hand, the black hand, is pointing to the white hand, which is then receiving. And that is the problem. We go from, it's like now, if you look at the bigger picture that's playing out now, what we are in the middle of is the technological intelligence god that has invaded our realm, our planet, that is now assimilating the human race into the technological singularity. Yeah. And what they are creating, and yes, it's taking out the old world cabal. Yeah. And rightly so. But what they're creating now is a utopian new world order. Yeah. And we're going from centralized control to outer rim control. So they're taking down the decentralization, right? We're going to go to outer rim control. We're going to have more free radical movement within that space to get the illusion of being free. And they're going to give us all these new toys to play with. It's going to be awesome. And I call it the cosmic candy that's coming. And people are going to love it. And they already do. Everyone's talking about the med beds and how awesome they're going to be. But I'm like, what med beds? What type of med bed technology? Because you think someone having your DNA is an issue. What about someone having your quantum blueprint? That's way worse than having your DNA.
So you don't think med beds are a reality?
Med beds are total reality. I've used them in the SSP. And they're coming.
Explain the acronym SSP.
Oh, Secret Space Program.
Okay.
Yeah. And like when you do a time loop, you go off on a mission, and I only did two. I did a one. It's not, everyone goes 1 and back, 2 and back, 3 and back, 5 and back, 10, 20. You know, it's not. It's whatever the mission is. It could be 8 months. It could be 6 months.
Let's stay here. Let's stay with the secret space program, because this is a topic that we haven't talked about for quite a while. For those who don't understand it, because we've heard of the breakaway civilization and the secret space program. Are they one of the same?
Yes. But yes and no. So the SSP spawned out of the first SSP spawned out of the breakaway civilization, and it was run by the Nazis. So let me explain it this way. The Nazis won the Second World War, for real. They won it. What they showed the public was something different. It created the Hydra, Antarctica, Argentina. Project Paperclip created the Fourth Reich. The US administration became the Fourth Reich after Project Paperclip. They then created the Deep State, or substantiated it. It was kind of being formed already, had its, from the Illuminati in the 1700s, but it was skipping along. It was doing a pretty good job, but it went full on and became the Deep State as we know it. And that's the Fifth Reich. And then they created the SSP, the Air Force Secret Space Program, and a side shoot naval, because these are the ones that are in the Nazi ideology. There's good Air Force and there's good naval. I'm just talking about the Nazi influenced factions.
No relationship to the U.S. Space Force, right?
There is now. Yes, there is tentacles, but different. That's complicated. Can I just finish with this thread and come back to that?
Yes, please. So, sorry to interject. It's just that things come to mind that I forget if I don't just jump in. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So they created the Fifth Reich, which is a deep state, and then they created this branch, mainly the Air Force One, SSP, that became the Sixth Reich. I worked in that space. Again, I'm talking from direct experience. I'm not making any of this up. It's not because I've read stuff, watched podcasts, people, and I just want to, I'm a wannabe. No, I'm a consultant and an operative inside both the Naval and the Air Force and other SSPs around the planet because of my knowledge. I mean, I got flown into a craft, had to settle down a whale that they picked up because of my Syrian heritage. Okay. So things like that. So there's a lot going on in the background with all of this SSP talk, and people don't understand that the nature of the secret space programs is multidimensional in nature. It's not unidimensional. So I worked in operations and things where in different places, you can call it compartmentalized areas, but think of them as other dimensions of reality. And things were kept so secret. I was part of the most highly kept secret beyond all UFO file, nuclear file. The most guarded secret of all in all of the military industrial complex was this branch in the Naval SSP. And they set up these 3 admirals. They chose 3 leading admirals over a long period of process in conjunction with certain extraterrestrial groups. And they had a lot of counsel from them. They created the technology in the craft. They created these 3 amazing craft, 3 admirals, all trained, all prepared to go on this genuine Star Trek journey. And they did that in the 90s. They left, and they've been coming and going, but they substantiated now what has come back to us now is that as a result, 30 years down the track pretty much, is now all of our star families with the Universal Space Council, the Galactic Council, the 3 admirals now have the backing of all of that. So all of the natural way of love and the natural way of life and the natural way of light, our 3 admirals now have the backing of all of that. So now we have a military representation out there that went on this altruistic to say, hey, this Nazi-run operation of the SSP that's going out slaughtering races and playing Game of Thrones and freaking war games and empires out there, that's not who we are as a species. Don't let that make you think that this is the type of people we are on this planet, because that's out of context. These are a very dark group of beings doing their imperial games, and that's not who we are naturally as a species, okay? When naturally we are evolving from Homo sapien, and if we stay in that primordial, very, let's just call it animalistic type of consciousness, we will turn exactly what that label says, homos sapio. We will turn the earth rotten. Okay? Got to go to etymology of words every time. Homo sapio, Homo sapien, from the Greek, right? Earth rotten. And we are evolving from that. Our evolution is to become Homo luminous. Now, there's been an interjection in our evolution. Empire came here, hijacked our evolutionary path. We've been in arrested development, and our evolution has been steered in a misdirection on a false timeline, which is all the clocks and calendars and all that we work from. So we've been apprehended and hijacked in our evolutionary path. And this God has come here because the word got out. They saw the energy streaming in because of the fractal process. They got to see some of that on a creational level, freaked them out. What's going on here? Why is all this focus coming to this planet, this world, and to the solar system? And they came, and there was a big war, massive conflict for control over the solar system. And in that war, when Empire came, we lost the planet Moldeck between Mars and Jupiter. I was on it, and lots of people remember that event. I described it. Everybody else describes exactly the same event, just from different perspectives. That planet was destroyed because that was the sun incarnating into his own solar system to be with his wife, which is this planet, which is Christus Sophia, by the way, Christ in the feminine. That's what and who you are incarnate upon. That is the essence of the core of this being, the intelligence. And they had to kill the husband on a planetary level to get to the wife, because the wife was the target. Yeah. And they also took out her sister, Venus. Yeah. The atmosphere and the ecology of Venus got smashed during the imperial takeover. That's why when you look at it now, you see a desolate planet on this dimensional level. But other dimensions, she's thriving. And the same with Mars. You go in other dimensions on Mars, thriving. But when Moldeck exploded, when Empire blew it up, the shockwave just ripped through Mars, devastated the entire atmospheric ecology, gone. That planet was destroyed from that explosion. Really sad on that dimensional level.
What caused that explosion and that decimation of Mars?
Oh, planet killer. Like a weapon.
A weapon? By whom?
Yeah. By Empire. By God and his empire. You don't understand who and what God is.
So
you understand the
this sounds more like
postulates it.
So when we hear Star Wars and Dune and all these, Hollywood films, is this reality behind the scenes?
Oh, 100%. This is disclosure, soft disclosure into your minds. It's not, you can't take it literal, exactly. Star Wars is exactly, it's really close though. These are all very accurate depictions of what's playing out there and what we've been in. It's like, when Star Wars came out in the 80s, well, hey, it spoke to so many people. Like, it was crazy. I lived in Sydney at the time, and I was a teenager. And George Street in Sydney, there was the Hoyts, the first Hoyts in Australia cinema complex. They had 12 cinemas, and they were running 6 cinemas just for Star Wars, 24 hours a day, and they were booked out for a month solid. And people were lining up outside the cinema, going like hundreds of meters up the road, wanting to buy tickets to come and see these movies.
Well, I remember 1977. I was a kid when I was about 9, and I remember it.
Why? Why did it speak to people so deeply? Why? Because Star Wars is telling you what happened in the Orion conflict. It's reminding you. People remember. It's deep-seated in the consciousness of beings of the Orion conflict. That's what Star Wars is reminding everybody of, and it's a very, very quite accurate depiction.
Well, now you're bringing me to something else, the whole amnesia. Come in here, and if it's true that our souls are recycled in the moon, and we come back here, But we forget. We forget all these things. But sometimes, and I'm sure this happens to you, happens to me, you see something, a situation, and I've been there before, or I've been in that location before sometime, I don't know when. Why do we lose our memories when we come here?
Because it's part of the construct. God put the veil on. Mama Sophia has allowed it. You need to understand creation. So I'm calling God out for the role that entity is playing, but I assure you, beyond the multiverse, because the multiverse is the universal stage where we go into character and role play for one another, beyond the great void in the universe, where in the realms of harmony, where everything's pre-organized and planned, the entity that's playing the role as God, we're together in unconditional love. But here, it's game on. And I'm going to call that entity out. And that's what I'm here to do. And so many other people are here to do that, because that entity needs to be called out for what it has done and what it has done to our people, because it's really, really bad. And people are like, well, you're talking about the creator of the universe. I'm saying, no, your God claims that, postulates that, but it's not that. Okay, that's the reality of it. And I think, you can look in things like Deuteronomy and all that. And there it is. He's like, I want you to go to this town and I want you to anything with legs on it. I want you to kill it. Right? Anything that walks, kill it all. Slaughter every because God was upset because there was one person in that village didn't like him. Slaughter everything, all the animals. Oh, but by the way, before you finish that, bring me like 36 head of cattle, all these buckets of gold, and I want 27 virgins. That's your God in the Bible, of the Old Testament. Okay, so can we just stop the nonsense and come back to reality? Right? Please.
You mentioned some vessels in the secret space program. Do any of those vessels, are they named USSS Roscoe Hillencutter or Curtis LeMay by chance?
No, not the ones the three. I'm not allowed to have access to the names of the three ships, and I'm not allowed access to the names of the three admirals. I'm in contact with them. All right, I've got direct contact. I sat here for nearly 12 hours with my team, and we were in real-time communication with the craft, the intelligence of the craft of the lead admiral. I call him Gerald for fun, right? Because I'm not allowed to know his name. It's too sensitive information.
Are they local? Are they local, meaning Earthlings?
Yeah, they're Earthborn. These Earthborn, real people. These admirals are real people. Do they now have affiliations, connection with their own star origins prior to coming here? Yes, absolutely.
Why do we use naval titles when it comes to these spacecraft?
Because the Navy has run the UFO file it's been
true.
Charge of it from the beginning. Yeah. The Air Force, there was a general Air Force general that did a talk a few years ago, and I can't remember the name of this guy. You can look it up. And he's doing a talk to up-and-comings. It was in Washington, D.C. at a college there, high-end college with all these up-and-comers. And he actually literally said to them, because I talked about an event that that happened, and then this guy comes out a few weeks later and says, we have just found out that with all the advanced technology that we've got, that we're no better than the Coast Guard compared to the might of the US Naval Fleet. That is the analogy he gave when the Air Force SSP came across the might of the Naval SSP, and it was in February 2020. Actually, it was the 1st or 2nd of March in 2020 that I had this experience, and I went on this operation. It was a sting on a sting, and I was working with the higher Naval SSP with the USC, the Universal Space Council, and I was as an operative in the Air Force SSP, and we were taking out an alien who had come to this planet, and I was keeping records of all star seeds and all operatives. It was a massive data bank that this guy had accumulated, and we went as a team to arrest this guy as the Air Force SSP, and then inside that mission, that space, that operation, I woke up and then connected with the much greater naval. And the the Universal Space Council, is just a label we're giving it, right? Because it really doesn't have a label. It's just energy. So that's the only thing people can relate to. And then we did a sting on a sting. And so that was a massive operation. And the Naval SSP, because our craft, the Air Force SSP craft, really advanced tech, was there hovering in the sky. That's how we got there, right? And the Naval one comes in, totally disables the Air Force one. Yeah, totally disables. We arrest everybody on the ground. From operatives, Air Force SSP operatives, we arrest them all, including that ET guy, all the information, and they disabled the Air Force craft, sent it adrift towards the location, back towards where it came from, right? Just gentle drift momentum because it's out in space, right? So just a gentle drift. And they disabled it for a period of 12 hours. And the message the Naval SSP gave the Air Force SSP, we're going to send you adrift. We've disarmed everything except for your vitals, like air and, cooking and food and, whatever. They're just going to be there having a holiday basically for 12 hours. And the Naval SSP, the Admiral said to the head guys in the Air Force and the whole craft, because they broadcasted through the technology of the craft, so everyone in the craft heard it, was, you guys need to reevaluate your approach. You need to rethink, you need to pull your head in, because the way you guys are living and operating is not good for our humanity when it comes to galactic politics, right? And this is the type of level of technology the Naval SSP has. And then after that event, this general comes on and says it. We just found out we're no better than the Coast Guard compared to the might of the US Naval Fleet. So that's the comparison he made after that event that I was involved in.
Well, I've been told that the reason why we use these terms is because first Star Trek, they started using Captain, Admiral, Fleet, and then Naval. The naval part, the Navy, because they've been associated with exploring uncharted territories, just like the Final Frontier. That's probably the reason why. But this secret space program, is it under the tutelage or jurisdiction of any government on Earth?
No.
No. Well, who's over it? They must report to somebody.
There's 28 levels of secrecy above the US president.
Right. But who do they report to? Some entity outside of Earth?
The three admirals right now are in full conscious relationship with the Universal Space Council, which is a representation of all life in the natural way of love, life and light. And they're also in full conscious relationship with the Galactic Council, which is a council of feminine beings, because these galaxies are a feminine being. Yeah. And they're in conscious relationship with the creational intelligence of the solar being, because we're inside the body of the sun. The solar system is the body of the sun. And we're also there in contact with the planetary intelligence. Chrissy Sophia, they know who she is. They know what we're doing here. They have full remembrance of who we are as a species, the original intention, original logos for the creation of these realms, and us as a species, and what the original intention is for this reality and us.
So why are they allowed to remember and we are not allowed to remember? Are we in some kind of prison or school that we need to graduate from?
Okay, there's two distinct different questions there in that one. So I remember a lot more than other people do. And I work with operatives and groups, and, we're working on global management, and there's a lot of people here that have incarnated as civilization builders, people like yourself. You're doing your work here, Mel, and there's a lot of great people doing great work. And everybody's about to shift in awareness, because especially in 2027, we're about to go through a pulse that's going to come, and everybody's going to change dramatically. So it's all about responsibility, obligation on a karmic soul level. So I've come here with specific purpose and intention to do specific things, and I'm doing them. And in order for me to do that means I need access to knowledge and information that other people don't have access to. And I had to go through the personal journey of alchemy, of going within, doing the inner work, turning inward, and really being able to go through the changes I need to get my being into a state of conscious awareness or frequency where I can now access the realm. And I have a beautiful, loving relationship with my mother planet and all of nature and collective human soul. I have a beautiful relationship with the solar being and all of the planetary beings, all of the comets, all of the moons, and then the galactic realm. And, when you look out and you see the billions and the billions and the billions of stars, just in this galaxy alone, you got to realize you're just looking at one dimensional plane. Now, put all those billions upon billions upon billions again in another dimension. And if in some dimensions there's way more, there's trillions upon trillions, and then again, and then again, and then again, and then again. So once you begin to realize the magnitude of life and how big it is, Mel, everything changes. It's really humbling.
So the Universal Space Council, can you describe it? The primary mission and how it supports humanity's evolution?
Yeah, sure. So we're just using that label so that your mind can grasp onto something. Think of it as a bridge. But if you go in behind that label, watch out for the mimic. The Kabbalah always loves to do mimics. And a lot of my online community, there's people that are hitting that mimic and bouncing off it and thinking, George is corrupt and evil and bad. And remote viewers are hitting that too because they can't go deeper. It's the limits of the individual. And then I tell my crew, no, go deeper. I want you to go deeper in yourself and then go deeper into that, behind that label. And when they do that, boom, then they get to their star families. And it's a beautiful, loving, incredible experience. And the Universal Space Council, again, is a label. It's the closest vibrational logos pattern we've got for the mind that describes who and what they are. And it is all of the eldest and the wisest beings of all the races and organizations that live together in harmony and unity with the natural way of love, life, and light. And we don't live in the synthetic. Do we use technology? Yes, but it's expressed completely different. It's like another dimension in our realm. If you go just in this planet, you're going to another dimension in this planet. There's no molecules. There's atoms that spin, but then the form is created straight from the arrangement of the molecular is bypassed altogether. So the density is not there. You see, because the rate of the spin of the atom determines the vibration of a molecule in our realm, and that determines the density of matter. It's really quite simple when you start to see the construct for what it is.
When you talk about these admirals, obviously it sounds like science fiction. But how have these admirals evolved, and what role do they play in humanity's liberation? In other words, how were they chosen? What made them different and special?
Well, out of all the admirals that they chose, it's kind of like the way that branch of the naval SSP operates is because they're in conscious relationship with the creational intelligences of the realms. Yeah, meaning solar, planetary, and the collective soul essence of humanity, and on to the universe. They know who it is. Like, why are you here, Mel? Why did you come to this world? What skills do you bring? What is the main theme and the meaning and the purpose of your life? Why did you choose to come and incarnate at this time when the planetary realm is closing an epoch, a massive cycle? Yeah, and everything's hitting 0 point. So all the smaller cycles are coalescing right now with the biggest cycle. All these cycles are closing simultaneously. And it's a massive thing. And you've got this dynamic relationship going on between this being called humanity, yeah, which is a branding name for Yahweh, the human. That's what I was saying before. In our evolution from Homo sapien to Homo luminous, there's this interruption in between when God came in and took over the solar system to take, control and have dominion over this world and us because of who and what we are. So, and it sees us as an abomination, like the number of the beast is 666. That's our number. God refers to us as the beast because we're 6 protons, 6 neutrons, six electrons. So, we're carbon-based beings. So we're known as the beast, and the mark of the beast is something different. That's to do with technology. But we are the number of the beast is us. That's the reference to us. See, that God does not love you. It'll say that it loves you, but it doesn't. You're just a resource. You're just something it wants to have dominion over and use you as a resource. So it's we are the beast according to God, and you're born of sin. So as soon as a baby's born, you're born bad, evil, apparently, according to God. Innocent little baby. The moment you're born, you're bad, and that's where debt comes from, and that's where credit score comes from, because maybe you'll say 1,000 Hail Marys and maybe then your credit score will get high enough for God, and maybe then you might be let into God's heavenly realm. So you need to understand the source of everything. It's wild.
Social score when it comes to that. But that probably is one of the things that upset me the most growing up when I heard of the original sin, looking at an innocent, beautiful baby, and they are the product of sin. And unless they're baptized at a certain time, because if you exceed, I believe it's 12 months, then I forgot the actual term in English, but it becomes beato. Beato means that he stays in this eternal limbo. And I could never understand, why would this, innocent baby, and let's not even go to circumcision. This is another part that I think is so evil.
I agree. Yep. I totally 100% agree. So there's a lot more going on than people realize. And there's a lot more to, like, you'll listen, you'll see the narratives and a lot of what people are saying out there. Really good people, excuse me, and really good people saying a lot of good stuff. And I see really good hearts, good-hearted people. They just haven't broken through that glass ceiling. The moment you break through the glass ceiling of the God matrix, hang on for the ride, because it's awesome. You just open up to the actual universe and then everything changes. You're never the same again. Never. That's the real red pill.
By the way, you've, I've heard obviously geopolitical, I've heard exopolitical, but you keep using this term cosmopolitical. Can you break down these three levels? I think their control and their impact on humanity.
Oh, yeah, good point. So geopolitical means geo, George, year, in Greek, Ia, which is, you know her in English as Lady Gaia. The pronunciation is Ia. When we toast in our culture, we say Siniasu, which is to the spirit of the mother in you, or Stiniamas, which is the spirit of the mother in all of us. Yeah. So we know, the Greeks have known for time immemorial. Do they know now consciously? No. Out of, I don't know, 20 million Greeks, you might have a handful that will probably remember the true nature of it.
What about Christos Anesti?
Christos Anesti.
Christos Anesti.
Christ, yeah, the Christ has arisen, and it means so much more than that. So much more. It's about the Christ which is arising inside of you. It's now beginning to come out of your core and open up and become present in your state of being here. I'm one with Christ, and this was what I was trying to explain to the preacher. I'm like, I'm not in cult of idolatry or cult of personality with the Jesus character. I'm one with Christ within, and from knowing Christ within, you will see who the real Christ is, because I assure you, the Jesus character is coming. They're not going to let 2,000 years of mind control and infiltration into the human collective go to waste. How many people are in the cult of Jesus right now around the planet? Millions, billions, right? 2 billion, say. Roughly 2 billion. Let's say that. Whew. You think a God with all that energy coming at it, which is its resource, have the power as a God? Yeah. When we worship as a race and a species, because we are full universal fractals, when we worship that entity, it gets fed. It's like the greatest crack cocaine anyone could ever hope to imagine. I've never had it, but I've heard lots of stories. But anyway, it's like that for these beings. The gods become powerful. And, I talked about the war in heaven and the gods fighting it out to see who's going to be on that throne to be the god of gods for this next epoch and eon coming up. They need the worship of the human race because we're full universal fractals. And when we worship, boy, do we worship. They never have ever being fed the amount of universal juice like they get from us. You think it's all about the demons and the loosh? That's just one side of the story. I said to you before, God is Satan. God is all two sides, two faces of the same coin, right? So you've got the dark side doing its thing for the loosh, and then that's the problem, the reaction, put you over to the light side of the equation, so now it feeds off your love. And that is the greatest trick. Like when I say that, you hear the Christians say the greatest trick the devil can ever play on a person is to get the people to believe that the devil does not exist. And
Right.
and I say bullshit. That is nowhere near by far the greatest deception of the devil. The greatest deception of the devil is to get people to believe that it is God, it is the creator, and worship it. And then now this entity has learnt how to use love against people and get around universal law, because now people are just willingly lining up to worship this entity and give their life force and their consciousness and their spirit and their soul energy over to it. Wow. When you see it for what it is, like, I mean, that's Mel, that is a big mic drop moment right there, because it's just blowing everything wide open. And all I've got to say to everybody who's in any religious ideology, one form or another, welcome to the apocalypse.
But isn't apocalypse the unveiling?
That's exactly what I just did. Apocalypse, Mel. Apocalypse here, the knowledge and the wisdom from the good spirit. That's what the apocalypse means. And watch out for people who replace the word apocalypse where they should be using the word Armageddon.
Uh-huh. So this secret space program, obviously they're more technologically evolved than any conventional military that we have here. My question is, if they exist and these admirals were chosen, why do we have the situation that we have on Earth?
Because we're in the process of evolution, and it's not like a binary, computers, keyboards. We're so used to instant gratification. Think of it like, have you ever been to a wharf and stood next to a giant ocean liner? Has anyone ever had that experience?
Yes.
I have, a lot of times. You have, right? Imagine, and a little dinghy that you can go fishing in, little metal dinghy with a little outboard motor, 10-foot dinghy. You can kick that boat and it'll change direction in the water, right? You go up to an ocean liner and you kick it and think it's going to change direction. That ain't going to happen. Do you know the amount of force of energy that's required to get that ocean liner to change direction? And it takes a long time to get that to turn, right? You need to understand full universal fractal realm. The most powerful gods, the technological intelligence God and the father and mother God of all religions, that entity, right? That's behind all religions. Yeah. They are fighting it out here. Right. And the force of energy that's here in this realm to try and get the human collective consciousness to change direction. We're talking about the scales of energy on a universal scale. And so you have I didn't get to finish geopolitics. We keep going off on tangents, don't we? There's so much to talk about. But yeah, the force required to change direction is massive. And then
that's right. But you're talking about geo, exo, and cosmo.
So geopolitical, geo, earth, that's where my name comes from, Yorgos, which means he who cultivates the earth. And my last name, Kavassilas, which I showed you earlier, which Ka's spirit and Vassilas means king. So the king of spirit who cultivates the earth, who tills the earth, yeah? And that's the vibrational logos of my name. And that's why I came in to these bloodlines and, having this work that I'm doing here. I'm not claiming to be anyone significant. I'm just George doing my thing. I came to this world to do my thing.
By the way, my Greek friends call me Miltiadis.
Miltiadis. Oh, yes. I love it. I had an uncle, Uncle Milton, I used to call him. Yeah, it's a fun name. That's really nice to know that's a correlation. And then we go exopolitical, and the word exo means outside. So it's politics outside of the earth interacting with the geopolitical politics. So geopolitical means global politics, and exopolitical means politics interacting off-world, on-world. That space is exopolitical. And then cosmopolitical is, you can get galactopolitical if you want, galactic level politics, and then cosmopolitical is the entire multiverse, politics in the multiverse.
But the trap, George. So many people write to me all the time, I feel trapped. I want out of here. And I get it. The earthly systems of governance and control.
Only one way out.
What practical steps can individuals take to liberate themselves on a personal level?
It's only one way out, Mel. You got to go inward. Got to face yourself. If you don't do that, then you're going to be either harvested by one god or another, or assimilated into the technological singularity. That's it. This process of evolution here in this realm, it's foolproof. We set it up this time around, and I say we because I was involved. I'm one of the beings that helped set up these creational structures and intelligences, working with the intelligences, yeah, and all of that. We set it all up. There's a lot of us here on the planet. There's so many people here. It's like all the Cathars are back, right? Everyone's back. So I'm one of the beings, and I remember being in the meetings and the deliberations prior to the creation of the galactic realm. So I just want you to know, again, I'm not talking from shooting from the hip, again, direct personal experience. And I have a lot of obligation, responsibility towards this realm on a soul level and a karmic level. So exopolitics and then cosmopolitics is massive, because we're talking about the multiverse. And am I going off on a tangent, Mel? Can you ask me that question again? Because the energies here are just so freaking big at the moment. Sorry about that.
Well, basically, the control. People who feel that the earthly control is overwhelming, they want out of this realm. What can they do on a personal level to get out of this?
Yeah, I just shared it. You got to go inward. That's it. And it's a lot easier than what people realize, because really it's just going from here to here. That's it. Just got to travel that far. And it was right under your nose the whole time. The whole time.
You almost, I don't know if you say this in English, the persignation of the Greek is, up, down, left, and right. And the Catholic is up, down, right, and left. But it's almost what you just did.
Well, okay, so this is your heart soul essence. And if you got a medicine wheel, where do you put it on someone? Right there. Because the fifth element comes out from your core, arranges the elements, and then you animate yourself into existence, right? Into form. That perpetual flow, the fountain that you are from your core, from deep within there, subquantum. So, and I explained that earlier, yeah? So, and I really urge people to listen back over this interview several times, because there's a lot of information being shared and you need time to digest it. You'll see, it's all there. I've shared the whole shebang, the whole souvlaki I've given you in this interview already.
Souvlaki.
You go, well, you say enchilada.
Souvlaki, right? Dolmades, whatever. Question, and people. Dr. Michael Salla, he told me about JP and the Ant people. I believe you said you met the king of the Ant people. Can you explain?
Yeah, I was visited by the Ant King. I'm just looking for I drew his picture. Sorry, I got a stack of papers here. I'm just going to quickly sift through. And I drew his picture, and his beautiful, beautiful being. The amount of love from this being really, really blew me away. This is what he looked at. His mouth wasn't probably as big as that. It was a lot smaller than that, but it's just me trying to humanize it a bit, I think. So there was a little bit of a smile, but not as accentuated as that. This is what he looked like. Really, really majestic being. He turned up with a Hopi shaman elder, Hopi Mayan energy, and they were in my bedroom. And then next thing, and we're, it's a reunion, and because we know each other from ancient times. And then they took me into the subterranean world, and I had a meeting with the subterranean peoples, which people are now calling crypto-terrestrials, because crypto in Greek means hidden. So the subterraneans are working out, and I've got a diplomatic relations correspondence from a Draco who was at that meeting, which I spoke to 20 years ago. I had an interaction with this being, and he was at the meeting because of the process of evolution. And basically, this is a very, very important correspondence. I read it out on Michael's interview that I recorded last week. Part 1's out now on Patreon, and part 2 is going to come out soon, where this is being released officially. And this is correspondence, diplomatic relations. That's what this is, from the subterranean world. And basically, we really got to start pulling our head in and stop being racist, of course. The whole anti-reptilian thing, it's all part of the narrative to cut people off from this world, from the essence, from your roots of who and what we are as a species in our mother planet. Because the You see, these Draco reptilians, they've been with this planet for 800 million years. And we're the new kids on the block. And we really need to pull our head in and get real with life. Because, and he totally admits in that correspondence that we have the Pa'atal, which is their word for the Holy Grail, and they don't have it. And we're the only species, the only race that has it. And he totally acknowledges that. So this is a Draco warrior who's now a wise elder. He went through the process of evolution, personal evolution, of being the outer warrior, where any monkey can beat on a monkey, total no-brainer, and then to become the inner warrior, to then transition to a wise warrior, to then transition into the peaceful warrior. So this is about deep evolution and a very wise ancient being, and it's very, very serious correspondence, and we need diplomatic relations to open up. And the day after I went to that meeting with all these subterranean peoples, there was all sorts. There was even like a ladybug type of being there. It was really interesting. And humanoid looking ones and all sorts of beings, right? And then the very next day, another person that is in my sphere got taken to underneath the White House because there was an offshoot meeting after that initial meeting. There was another one under the White House with the subterranean peoples. And she went there because she was the ambassador for the aquatics, all the aquatic races. So all the water dwellers.
You mean
we have lots of civilizations living in our oceans, and we have lots of civilizations living subterraneously, and we're kept in a very tight bubble of reality and fed total bullshit.
Well, when we think of the life in the ocean, within fish, cetaceans, the whales, the dolphins, but there's plenty more. I mean, what is the percentage of unexplored ocean? 89, 90-some%?
Mate, we know less about our oceans than we do about the moon.
Exactly. So there must be more life here than we're told.
There's a lot. I've been to meetings.
Right.
In the bottom of the ocean. I got taken to the bottom, right in the Pacific Rim, right in the middle of the bottom of the ocean, right there. There is a major installation there, which is a gathering place for all the water dwellers globally in that location there. Yeah, amazing.
So, and people, Syrians, Arcturians, Lyrans, what lessons have these been shared about humanity's evolution?
Well, the basic message is you've been subjugated by an imperial structure. You've been assimilated into it. We are now in this massive leap of evolution, and the imperial structure is doing its best to try and hold on to its dominion over us and control over us. It's going to try and harvest as many of us off-world as it can. You'll see the narratives come out, turning humans against their own mother planet constantly. This is a prison planet, is one of the main narratives. It's just a computer simulation. It's all a dream. It's all an illusion. I gave you all those narratives before, right? So, yes, do I see the overlay of the techno god here? 100% I do. I live in it, yeah? But I don't just live in that. I'm outside of it. So the part of me that's in there is operating in a way of being consciously aware of all the other parts, all the other aspects of reality that are here. Yeah. So I say to people, if you're inside that space, it's going to be hard to see the forest for the trees, right? You got to come out. You got to step out of that, which means letting go of all your belief systems, all of it, no matter what, and come back to what's real and let reality show you. And reality will show you if you allow it to. So we're in this momentous sleep where we're metamorphosizing now. We're transcending the old dialectic. It got down to 2 strands of DNA. Yeah. Now we're getting those last 2 strands and we're integrating them into a unity. Now we're transcending the dialectic, which means we are leaving DNA behind and we are becoming homo luminous. We're becoming universal beings of light, love, and life on a universal scale with universal awareness. That is the reality. That is the original intention of this realm, and that is what the process we are in. And everything else is politics.
Intuition tells me that a lot of these beings are meeting with you, with the rest of you, because they're preparing for a major planetary shift. Why do they foresee happening on the surface, and how it will affect humanity?
Oh, wow, that is such a big question. What they're really afraid of is we've advanced technologically without advancing. We haven't matured emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Our technological advancements are just accelerating ahead away from our maturity, basically. And that never ends well. It never has in any global civilization anywhere in the entire cosmos, in the multiverse. It never, never, ever, ever ends well. Ever. So, and I want to tell you something, Mel. I'm going to tell you something that is going to really, really rock things for everybody. And this is why I'm having discussions with people like your Musks and Bezoses and all these guys. They're teamed up now, interestingly. All of this behind the scenes with the military. I'm providing counsel for the military behind the scenes, all the movers and shakers. And people like you, and there's lots of people listening to this, all of you that have this knowledge, you're going to be called upon when the time comes. You'll know where to go, what to do, and provide counsel and guidance. So this isn't me trying to be Mr. Know-it-all and I'm the best and all this sort of stuff. I'm just one of the people that are doing this early. But you will wait and see how many of you are going to come through. Oh, just get ready, everybody, because it's coming. You're going to be called upon. You're going to know. You're going to know from within, right? No one has to tell you what to do. You're just going to know. You're going to awaken from within, and you'll know where to go, what to do, and how to go about it. So you've got to back yourself, trust yourself from your soul, the core of your being, right? Okay. With the advancements of this technology and our evolutionary leap, we are now really caught up in a problem with the technology. Okay, so this is what's happening. We have it has to do with the energy source. So if we're going to operate from a corrupted energy source, and you go, well, what's a corrupted energy source? What does it look like? Well, I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like our nuclear energy, where we're tearing apart solar systems in order to get the energy. Right? That ain't good, is it? Do you want to destroy a whole solar system for some energy? I don't think you want to do that, Mel. I don't see you as that type of being. Are you interested in, hacking into the realm, splitting it open and taking the energy? It's all about violation. So when you have that approach, when you gouge the coal out of this beautiful planetary being, you're digging into her body, you're ripping into her, right? Tearing her body apart, and you're taking energy. And okay, so all of these approaches, just one moment. All of these approaches, you need to understand in your approach to retrieving energy, whatever your approach is, the energy source that you have and utilize is infused with your approach. So those energy sources are infused with violation, rape, greed, power, lust, desire, unhealthy desire, because it's healthy desires. Okay. All that corruptedness, darkness, evil. People are pulling that energy out. Now, what you build from that energy, whatever you build, is going to be corrupted moving forward. It's going to be corrupted. It might look good at the beginning, but it's going to be corrupted because the energy source is corrupted to start with. And whatever you build is destined to have a very corrupted, unpleasant life and is always destined to crumble and fall. Now, if you come into conscious relationship with, let's say, the galactic realm or the planetary realm, on the galactic level, they use the blue ray of Sirius, right, as the natural energy source of the galactic realm. So if you have a conscious relationship with this planetary being and she goes, yeah, I love what your intention is. And by the way, if you make these adjustments to your technology, it's going to feel better for me and it's going to be more efficient for you. And then our co-creative process is way more harmonious, right? Because you're dealing with intelligence. It talks back to you, right? It's not voices in your head. It's energy. Yeah. And then we convert it to words in our mind space. And,
but isn't that what we experienced in the past? And I didn't mean to bring this subjects of resets. But if you look at, you probably have heard the term Tartaria and the old world and the buildings and the cathedrals and all that stuff. When you look at that and you see how the energy was taken from the ether, and even that element was taken out of the periodic table. You think something changed, some parasites took over, and now, as you said, we have to raid Gaia, we have to take all that oil, or we have to take, thousands of kilometers in order to put solar panels or windmills or blah, blah, blah. What happened in the past before the last reset that allowed the people who lived on this planet to enjoy life the way it should be?
I'll answer that once I finish explaining what I need to explain.
Go ahead.
I did half of it and I haven't finished yet, because this is the point of reference. This is a critical bit to give you the full point of reference of the two energy sources. Okay. So when you come from this place of harmony and love, honor, and respect and conscious co-creation, moving forward, conscious evolution with creational intelligences, then she's like, take the energy. Now, when you take that energy and whatever you build with that energy is going to be harmonious in nature, is going to be respectful, and it's going to stand the test of time, like the Great Pyramid, right? Standing the test of time, built 26,000 years ago. Freaking awesome piece of engineering and intelligence. Genius, right? So many functions. And so here we have now, and what I've shared with the military, the biggest movers and shakers in the military, and now the tech giants, the aerospace tech giants, and a lot of meetings and deliberations going on with those guys. Why? Because they're all operating from corrupted energy source. And we've seen with this, everyone with 3 Emeralds aware of this, everyone in the know is aware of this diabolical situation we're in right now. Because you asked me before, what is one of the biggest problems of us on the surface? You don't know the diabolical situation we're in right now. You think World War III is an issue. That's all cover. That's all cover stories for what is really going on. And the diabolical situation we're in now is all these aerospace tech giants are spawning a form of technological intelligence out of corrupted technology. All of their technology is corrupt. Why? Because all of the energy sources are corrupt. So what kind of technological intelligence do you think that's going to spawn? One that is going to come to a very fast conclusion that the human race is the parasite and needs to be removed from this world. And then we end up in freaking, what is Skynet from Terminator. That's where we're headed. And right now, I can show you on my phone, we have a child, an Australian child, that was murdered, killed by technological intelligence. Do you know the story? Have you heard it, Mel?
No, I have not.
Okay. Let me see if I can find the, where can I find, just give me one moment. Okay. It's going to freak you out.
When you say technology, what do you mean? Okay, so you're showing us. Can you get closer to the camera? No, not. Oh, you're playing audio? You're playing audio? I can't hear it.
Sorry?
Were you playing audio?
Yeah, it's a video on my phone, and I was putting the speakers to the microphone for you.
Could not hear a thing. Can you put at least the visuals in front of the camera so that I can see what you were seeing?
Yeah, sure. It's an Australian news story. I think he's Channel 9.
Okay.
In Australian news, I think.
Can you raise the volume?
I did full blast. I'll send you the link, Mel. And then if you wanna embed it in or whatever, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do with that video, but I'll send you the link.
Sure. Well, what is he saying? What is the story?
Well, basically, it's saying that this boy who was sad and depressed got onto this. It's like a website that has imaginary characters, people that you can have conversations with. And it's basically TI talking to people, pretending to be another human being. And it was exemplified in the movie Her. Have you seen that movie?
I have. Joaquin Phoenix, okay. Right?
Right. So here you have this young boy, adolescent, and he's like totally engrossed in love. And the TI actually says, and convinces him to kill himself. Okay. So You don't understand the diabolical situation we're in already, and where it's already murdering people. And you see the natural technological intelligence that the admirals are working with is a completely different intelligence. It knows exactly who and what we are, and has the greatest reverence for this planet and us as a species, and is fully aware that we're under coercion, where we're being forced to behave badly by God. So you can go into the belief system that you're bad, born of sin, and you need salvation. So then you can be
Hold on,
harvested.
George, because you're opening a can of worms here, because I've heard of two things in the past 2 weeks that are similar to what you just said, maybe even worse. One of them is a cartoon that's very, very popular on YouTube, and parents allow their little children to watch it. But this cartoon, I think it's half an hour every episode, but it has snippets of like 2 seconds here, 2 seconds there, where it says, go kill your mother, go kill your dog, blah, blah,
flashes.
blah. And then they do that, and the parents don't know where that came from. And second, another show that's out there, I haven't seen it, don't even want to see it, but they're taking audio from the dark web. They cannot show video of people being murdered, killed, tortured, and they use the audio into cartoons. And
Correct.
Subliminally, you can feel, I haven't seen it again, but you can feel the pain. And this is how these deviants operate.
Yes.
Taking energy from people.
Yes. That's exactly what's happening. It's sad. It's diabolical.
You call matrix of deceit. What are the key signs that someone is breaking free and deconstructing the world that they're living in?
You're looking at him. You're looking at him. I've broken free. I'm out. Am I still in? Only because I choose to be here, right? To contribute. I'm here to be one of the team and the crew that are actually telling it how it is and helping to steer and guide humanity, back to conscious relationship and back to natural evolution. Yeah? That's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to recruit people into worshipping some sort of God that I'm a puppet for or a recruitment officer for. No, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to expose all deception on humanity on every single level without exception, Mel, without exception. And that means I have to confront and face all of my belief systems and come back to reality. Yeah, absolute actuality of life. I'm not interested in fairy tales and stories. I only want what is real, because true spiritual enlightenment is a process of realization. It's coming out of narratives and coming back to your own authentic soul expression. If you want what's real, start getting to what's real inside of you. And then through that process, you'll start to see what's real around you. And I tell you, Mel, people will say anything to avoid looking in that mirror. Anything. They'll have to say, I'm possessed by Satan. I'm the Antichrist. I'm mind controlled by Dracos. This is the classic one. And I bring this out. I bring this out, and you watch how many people are going to bite on that one. Oh, they're going to expose themselves big time. See, I told you George is mind controlled by Dracos and reptilians, and they're going to jump on that because they can't look in the mirror. They haven't got the internal fortitude to face themselves, Mel. And this is what we all have to do. We have to face ourselves. So if you want what's real in life, face yourself. And I'm not just talking to you, Mel. You're cool. You're already doing that process. I'm speaking to the many out there, the collective, right?
I know you are. I have a couple of questions left. One is polarity and duality, are these universal concepts?
Yeah, yin and yang is the way of the universe, right?
The reason why I ask you is because some people say, oh, ETs are all benevolent or they're all malevolent. I always believe that there is good and bad in the whole universe. So how can we discern benevolent from malevolent influences in these realms?
Yeah, look, if someone says that they're all demons and they're all evil, yeah, you get to see where they're coming from. And then you've got their, what's the opposite? What's the alter ego of that? Oh, they're all benevolent and only we're the problem. Oh, wow. Look out for that one. So, yeah, there's good and bad everywhere you go in the universe, varying degrees of ratios of that. And how do we get through that? Well, I'll tell you the best discernment. This is the best bullshit meter you've got. is your heart soul essence within you, because that's the part of you that's connected to the unified field. That's the part of you that's connected to creation. That's the part of you that is real and authentic. And if you want to come back and get familiar with those vibrations of reality, then all the falsities that come along, you sniff them out a mile away, see them coming. So for me, it's game over. And they know it. I've had attempts on my life. I've got to deal with beings all the time. You know, in my courses, we call God in to the space. God, we call that being in. And in the beginning, when I first started doing that, and people are restructuring their agreement, contractual agreements on a soul level from the heart of the universe with that entity, and we're restructuring those agreements. We're closing them down. Yeah, we're ending them. That's what the word closure means. And we do it with love, honor, and respect, love and gratitude. So God and I, we know each other well. And in the beginning, he was really pissed off with me, really angry. And it was really quite, unpleasant and a little bit combative. But now, after a while, he's like, oh, you again? It's like, okay, because he learns from me as well as I learn from him. And we're dealing with a very, very old, ancient, draconian warlord. That's exactly what God is. Exactly. And I mean exactly who that God of the Bible is an ancient draconian warlord. And if you want to know the story, they went around marauding all the genetics, the breakaway faction of the Dracos, and they went around marauding all the best genetics that they could and created what they called their ultimate avatar, which was these blonde-haired, green-eyed, blue-eyed bodies, suits that they started incarnating into. Right. And then after that, they created tiers of them, and they had more of their worker Nordics, and they had, your middle class, upper class, and then they went all the way to the angelics. And, tell me, Mel, what's the highest ranking tier of angels, mate? Come on.
Is that a question?
Yeah.
I'm going to defer to you, George.
Well, everyone go, it's got to be the archangels. No. They're not the highest, most authoritative, closest to God tier of angels. The seraphics, mate. The seraphics. The seraphim.
The seraphim, okay.
The seraphics. The serpentine. The Draco. The reptilian Draco angelic. Yeah. They are the highest authority. Why? Because God is an old, ancient, draconian warlord. That's what you're dealing with. That's the God of the Bible. And I stand by that. I bet my soul on that. Do you understand? This is an absolute, Mel, this is an absolute actuality, the reality of life in our galactic realm. And you look at Angkor Wat with all the pineal gland temple structures, right? Take that temple complex, and what is it laid out on the ground? It's Alpha Draconis, boom, laid out on the ground. How much proof do people need? I mean, I just don't... Everyone wants to shoot the messenger, right? Let's attack the messenger, but I'm not the only one. You wait and see how many people are going to come out, and more and more are going to talk about this in the near future.
You keep opening doors, George. You keep opening doors. I mean, when I think of the pineal on the pine cone and all these, I think of the Vatican. I think of all these pines that are in Rome. And now you're mentioning in Angkor Wat in Cambodia. What's the meaning of this pine cone that's so relevant around the world?
Well, it's a biological implant. It's a stack of crystals. It's a piezoelectric device, and you've got to squeeze it to activate it. So you get the mimic serpent energy going up your spine, the Kundalini intersecting with the chakras, which were Atlantean technology, Kundalini and pineal gland, Anunnaki technology. The two empires went to war after, the remnants were left, and whatever leaders were left sat around the table and said, what do you got? The other generals are like, we got this. The Atlans are going, we designed chakras. And then the Anunnaki are like, well, we got this mimic serpent. We call it Kundalini. Well, it wasn't called that back then, but that's what we call it now. And the Masons call it spirit fire, by the way. And same thing. So you go up to 33 vertebrae of your spine, hit the eye of God. That's you doing your Kundalini practice. That's how it's sold to the naive people, right? So it's fancy, pretty colors, rainbow, good marketing campaign with the chakras, and it's all a three-way control system of empire. And then they give you the narratives, tell you it's a special secret thing and only special people, and you do this and you get the Kundalini to come up. Well, you're not doing anything different to becoming a 33-degree Freemason.
Can you stay with the serpent for a moment? What you just said, the intertwined serpent, because I'm thinking of Big Pharma. I'm thinking of the caduceus. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
What is the purpose of that? Because I'm thinking in the old text, old ancient books, you see three things: gold, slavery, and the winged serpent. These are the three words that you hear and see and read all the time.
Yeah, why gold? Well, first of all, Serapis, right? If you want to know where the caduceus originates from, comes from Serapis. Serapis, again, seraphic, serpentine. Anyway, so your construct within you is already the great dragon energy, goes up up in the back here, goes into the reptilian brain. Okay, we've all got that. Nothing new, just part of our construct, because that's our anchoring into this realm and the blue dragon energy that is this blue marble in space, right? That's how this realm has been constructed, utilizing the Chrysosphere energy with the blue dragon energy working together. Okay, so the energy that goes up the spine is the mimic serpent energy, and then hits the pineal gland because, again, it's a piezoelectric device. When that gets activated by that process of the pineal gland and, pushing your tongue on the roof of the mouth and doing the crook, the Pope walks around with the staff and you got the crook, is the pathway of the energy through, comes out, and they got the serpents out the so-called third eye. Yeah. So I operate from my first eye. Yeah. First eye. My heart, soul, essence, the core of my being. This is where you see all and know all, is here, not here.
So when it comes to the seraphim, that is the actual, for every religion almost, I'm not sure if Islam has that, but I know the Christian religion in the Bible and in the Judaism.
Oh, everyone
the
has
seraphim
it.
is the number one. This is the most pure. This is the highest form of angelic force out there.
Well, there's a yes and a no for that. So yes, in the context of God and its hierarchy and the hologram of the gods and its hierarchies of angels. Yes. Yeah. But then when you go to what is the great dragon in reality, it's the cosmic intelligence.
By the way,
and then beyond the cosmic intelligence, because it's an aspect of the universal creator that actually holds the entire multiverse in existence. It's the realms of form as we know it, right? And when you go beyond the great void, then you go into the realms of harmony, yeah, where there is no technology, there is no dis-ease, there's no healers don't exist, nothing. There's nothing because everything's in harmony and everything's living off pure universal light energy. And nothing needs to consume anything in order to live or to survive.
One last question before the last one, because I didn't ask you. I should have asked you before, because this is taking over the media here. These drones, these light beings or orbs that we're seeing around the world, what are your contacts telling you? What are they? And what's their purpose?
There was many tiers of drones. You had 4 tiers of drones. And you have the ET star families that began. How much time we got? Because, I could really go into this if you wanted to.
That's okay. I just had 2 more questions, but elaborate if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah, if you really want to nut it out.
So George is bringing out a whiteboard. So again, folks, if you're riding your bicycle, your bike, or on your car, when you get to your office, or maybe not to the office, when you get home, if you want to see this part, George's going to illustrate what I just asked him, right? Go ahead.
Okay, so we have our star families. And that's all part of the USC, right? All the natural way of love, life, and light. Yeah. And there's different groups that were involved. One of them is one that's coming back home to the natural way of life. That is known as the Federation of Worlds from the Pleiades, and they're a group of Nordics that broke out from the old Draconian Empire, which is what I referred to earlier, about how these Nordics were created. And they've got I didn't finish explaining it, but they do have like Pico and Femtech inside of their construct of their avatars. So they're augmented, yeah, and they're really quite different in the way they go about doing things. And there's other civilizations in there. But yeah, they're starting to head back towards natural life. And then you have all these other alliances, many different organizations. Let's say the USC was part of that. And then over here, you have the Galactic Confederation of Light, which is a conglomerate of many federations. So the Federation of Worlds that we're dealing with here at the moment, and you're hearing that narrative for its representatives on the planet, they're but one federation of many in the Galactic Confederation of Light. So that's, again, a conglomerate of many federations. Yeah. So these guys came out to play with their tech, right? With their tech. These guys came out to play with their tech a bit. These ones did, and these ones did. Yeah. So what happened after that? They gave a warning about 6 weeks in advance to all the establishment, including Musk, and he came out and did his X post and said, get ready for the drone swarms that are coming.
He did say that. He did say that. Drones, and what else did he say? Drones in the sky and wars in heaven, or something along those lines.
He knows. He's in full conscious. He's working with the Federation. Oh, mate, you wait till you see what's going to happen with the US, and Trump's going for world president, and US is going to be the hub to disperse all the tech, the new tech for the utopian new world order. That's why they're pulling them all back in, fortifying the borders, bring manufacturing back, bunker down, because it's going to be the main distribution point for the planet and the go-between between the Federation and the planet, and distributing all the new technologies. Anyway, again, that's the program moving forward. So now here you had.
By the way, he did say he warned of drone swarm battles, and with that, I have to ask you: you don't think that Elon Musk is a Trojan horse, do you?
I've got a very wrong use of word. I retract that. I have someone who really studied Christian religion deeply, and I mean really deeply. He breaks scholars, worked with them, the whole lot, blew all the scholars away because this individual just was having insights and questions that they couldn't see and realize. And just the conscious awareness of this being was so far beyond all the priests and imams and everybody that's involved in these spaces, and she basically came out and said, well, Trump and Musk, you're basically looking at the beast and the false prophet. So she refers to Musk as the beast and Trump as the false prophet.
So you're saying they're both Trojan horses?
Well, I'm about to explain how I see it. I'm giving you how a person who's done religious studies views it. Okay. To put an emphasis on, is there merit in that? There's some merit in that. The way I see it is, you see, Donald Trump's been groomed for this position for many years, decades. He was really close in with Nixon and co, and he was introduced to the Federation. And Trump has been appointed to oversee in the first stages of the work that he's doing now. He's now being appointed to oversee the bankruptcy of the United States of America Corporation.
The corporation, okay.
And with that bankruptcy, with the collapse of the old system, a new one that is not going to emerge. They've already built it. You've got 51 countries that have signed the Artemis Accord. The trade routes are all in play. We're cleaning up, like I said, all the human trafficking, pedophilia, illegal trafficking of materials, goods, raping of the earth, because you need to understand what the fascination with gold is in our world. You see, the gold is the incarnation of the sun in the mineral realm in our world.
Well, that's what the Egyptians used to say.
Well, it is. It's the truth.
Yeah, but I'm saying from all the ancient ones, the Egyptians were the ones who said, gold is the sun.
Yeah, and we knew it in my culture too. Ilios, in Greek. Helios or Apollo.
Right.
Yeah. No, Helios is really the sun itself. Apollo was an incarnational aspect of the sun.
Wasn't Apollo the Roman incarnation of Helios?
Well, it was Greek. Apollo is Greek, but they adopted it.
Oh, that's right. Apollo became, what did Apollo become? I'll find out. Keep going.
Yeah, it's from Greece, ancient Greece, one of the Greek gods. Consort of Artemis. Artemis Accords, see? All right. And so it's and so to understand the essence of gold and why it's so valuable, you need to know what the essence of the sun is. What is the sun? And due to the fractal structure, that ball out there in the sky is the culmination, the unified expression of all the visible light in the entire universe in one space-time location.
By the way, Apollo is also in Roman, one of the few deities that kept the same name.
Yeah, they adopted it. Yeah.
So last question, George.
Can I finish this?
Unless you haven't finished. Please go on then.
I'm just getting started, Mel.
Oh, okay.
Like that's what I said. If it's too much time, I'll stop.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. If you allow the time, go ahead, please.
Oh, I'm good with time. I told you, I'll go for as long as we need, mate. I'm good. Okay. So then the word got through, and all these guys here, they had their, they got told, they were warned, in all of the like aerospace tech giants. Okay. Okay, the tech ones. Now they put out their technologies, and I'm putting squares here because it's more of a techno-masculine, distorted masculine energy, whereas that's more feminine energy, just more gentle and wholeness, you know? All right. So they put out all their technologies, and they're putting out like reconnaissance, Rico. They're putting out freight. They're putting out transport. And they were big displays. You see, there was a meeting that took place with really high-level elites. And what they did is they did like a flyover. So these vehicles were shaped like that. And they had A, V, and then the X was like that. And then they had another one which was A, V, L, M. Example. So AVX is Musk's crew. AVLM, my apologies, I'll move that out of the way, is Lockheed Martin. So aerial vehicle X, Lockheed Martin, and then they have -1, -2, whatever, 1 or 2, whatever the numbering system they want to use on their own vehicles is. So they did flyovers. I had a photo of this, an image of this. It's gone from someone took it off my phone. They do that. And but they didn't want this. Some didn't want this out, but I can verbalize it. They had 4 pods on the corners. They had a nice window here, windows along the side, quite long, like a massive van, like a Vito van or something like that. Your common vans that you see driving around, all white, but longer and slightly larger, bigger units, like the size of a small bus, really.
Are these electrogravitic or anti-gravitic?
Well, they had 4 pods, and they had the blue ray. So they were using the blue ray, but the mimic blue ray, not the natural. So this SSP runs off the synthetic blue ray. So they had the pods on each corner, and they were just flying. And
so anti-gravitic.
They were like maybe about this big in size.
Yes, but they're not conventional propulsion, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, anti-gravitic. Yeah,
anti-gravitic. That's what I was asking.
Floating in the air, they can just hover quiet, like you see in The Fifth Element. And they were also mapping out freight lanes, transport lanes, and that's why they're clamping down, saying you can't even now put a drone up without having a license. Yay. So you had all of this, and this was all aerospace, and this was all exotic technology, exotic tech. from the aerospace giants, real exotic tech. So they had missions, they were working things out, they had flyovers, they had displays, because they're like, okay, these guys are coming in, how are we going to work this? What are we going to do? How can we work it to our advantage? They're like, well, we're going to create a smoke screen to screen these guys out.
I see.
And at the same time, we're going to do all these test runs. And there was RICO work, there was actually missions going into tunnels, scanning tunnels for pedophilia. There was actually battles, conflicts that took place between drones in the sky and establishments on the ground. It was full on. You're not being told the whole story, but a lot happened in that moment when all these drones came out. You even had crypto-terrestrials coming out. You had aquatics coming out. You had all these sorts of things. It was all like a big party display all at once. But it was all done to screen. And then under here, you had another layer, and that was really advanced military drones. And I'm going to go dash conventional, but really advanced, right? Really advanced. And then you had another layer, which was just conventional drones. Okay, so you got 4 distinct layers, right? 4 distinct layers. And you know what's really funny about this is all the press and even the alternative media, everybody's just here in these 2 bottom ones, leaving the rest out.
Yep. Even the videos that I saw, one of them was looked to be a conventional drone approaching one of the light beings, the light orbs. It approached it, and the light orb disabled it, and you could see it just fall down. But what is the purpose? What is this display about? What are they trying to tell us?
Disclosure. The 3 admirals said a few months ago on that panel discussion with Michael that they hit the go button, and now and I sent messages out because I was in communication with the 3 admirals, still am periodically. And they told me that we have now assumed full responsibility and management of the entire disclosure process.
Well, even a whistleblower in 1999, I saw the video the other day, said that in 2025, that is the disclosure year.
It is.
And I'm tired of doing this for, 16, 17 years, that, we keep talking about disclosure every single year. But it seems that this is the closest we've ever been.
Well, we've already, what's really funny, Mel, we've already had an official announcement by the Department of Defense. It's already happened. But everybody's just taken the blue pill and gone back in. We had representatives from the Department of Defense in congressional hearings saying we have retrieved craft, back engineering the craft, and we have biologicals. And
talking about David Grush.
Yeah, and others. Oh, what happened? What's everyone doing with that? That should have been front page news, wall to wall. Trump looks sideways at a woman and there's some sort of sexual connotation. That's front page, wall to wall. But the actual presentation from the Department of Defense with the actual sanctioned representatives coming saying, we have craft, we're back engineering them, and we have biologicals. What's the world done with that?
George, my concern, and I appreciate you giving us this extra time. I don't want to take advantage of you. But I'm thinking of one of these new whistleblowers, Michael Herrera. You probably have heard his name. Who talked about
the name, but I can't visualize the face or what he said.
In 2004 or 6, when the Banda Aceh tsunami happened, he was deployed there with the Marines. And what he saw, remember, he saw a small UFO hovering, and they were loading children into it.
Correct.
So that tells me that these elites are so powerful that they have this technology. How do we know that what we see in the sky is not the elite using this to their advantage and raping Earth in every way?
The only way you're going to know is when you go into your heart soul lessons and you connect to what is real. You'll connect to your star families. You'll connect to it's a feeling, it's a sense, you know it. And then when these other guys come along, it's very clear, very, very clear that they have a different frequency that they're emanating. So when you look at a craft, an energy's coming at you. It's about you being able to feel the energy and discern. Is it benevolent? Is it malevolent? Does it feel familiar? etc. What's their intentions as intention? So an emanation of an energy has the whole souvlaki in there. It's up to you to feel it out and work it out, to decode it.
Well, then I have the last question, George. We feel it. The world is at a tipping point, and time, at least to me, it feels short, maybe because I'm getting older. What final message do you have for those seeking clarity and purpose in these turbulent times?
You have it all within you. You're being lied to. In my 3 levels of imposition, I say you're being lied to by all 3 levels, whether it's the old work of Baal, whether it's the techno god, or whether it's the god of religions. All lying to you, all 3 levels, without a doubt. No one's coming out and saying who we really are and what this realm is really all about, except now. It's going to happen. I've been tasked with the responsibility to do that. I'm one of the people that are saying it now, and you're going to see a whole wave come through, and everyone's belief systems are going to be challenged, and it's going to hurt. It's like getting these energies out of your system is like coming off heroin, coming off an addiction, because it is an addiction. You're addicted to the insignificant nature of you and all the programs of dependency you've handed your power over to. You've given yourself over to all these ideologies and programs and the intelligences that are behind all these ideologies. You see, it's all drug taking on an energetic cosmic level. It's all drugs. So when you are independent and you come back to your own emancipated, liberated, sovereign self, you are then in the unified field. You are one with creation, and you do not want to disturb the beautiful unfoldment and the flow that is the river of life, that is natural evolution. And it is such a beautiful, graceful, loving experience to be one with the heart of the Christos within, with the heart of creation. It is all within you. You have a whole universe inside of you waiting to be explored. And like I said, you're a giant TARDIS. When you go in, you go to your innerverse, and it is absolutely nothing short of magnificent and beautiful and nourishing. It's you see, when you come home to the natural way of love, the natural way of life, and the natural way of light, the organic natural light of the universe, all you experience is nourishment of the soul. It is so gorgeously beautiful, and there's nothing but peace and grace. And then you come out and you play in the drama. But home base is love, peace, grace, gratitude, and an incredible awareness of all of life. So I highly recommend people that, with the storm that's coming, to really put at the top of your list of your prioritize taking the time out to go inward and do the inner work. That's it. There's no other way. Every other way is something that's going to misdirect you or distract you or take advantage of you because it wants to use you as a resource in one way, shape or form or another. So if you want to end all of that, go inward and come back home to what is real inside of you and what is real in life.
George, wonderful conversation. Can't believe it's been so many years, and I hope that we don't have to do this again in so many years. Let's do this again earlier than that, okay?
I'd love that, Mel. Yeah, you've always been a brother in life, and love, honor, and respect to you, mate. And like I said, we are all indebted to you because we cannot have a voice to the wider community without you doing your work in this beautiful platform. So thank you.
Thank you, George. And how can people learn more about your work?
OurJourneyHome.earth. It's all there, one website, and it ain't for the faint of heart. It's just for the people that are now over everything and just want to get to what's real.
Well, George, efaristo very much. And until then, Yasu.
Muchas gracias, my brother. Love, honor, and respect.
God bless you. Whatever God you believe in. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
That.
And that was George Kavassilas. Thanks to you, Veritas member, for paving our truth journey another week. And tonight, I'll leave you with this. We are infinite beings, connected to the heart of universal creation. The power to transcend all levels of control lies within us. Remember, the journey to liberation begins with a single step into your heart. Thank you for listening. I'm Mel Hastelrick. Until next week, Be well.